And you are looking at fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, the site of the 2025 Credit Union 1 Mountain West Women's Basketball Championships. As today we move on to the quarterfinal round. First of four matchups here today at the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas. And it is the number 1 seed UNLV Lady Rebels taking the court here at the Thomas and Mack against the 8th seed Boise State Broncos. My name is Nate Kreckman. My partner this afternoon is Kelly Burke here on the Mountain West Network. We broadcast the first 3 games yesterday in first round action. Boise State, a 6-point win over Nevada to advance to take on the top seed UNLV here today in our first quarterfinal. And Kelly, Boise State, nice win yesterday. Your reward is to play the 4-time defending, 3-time defending tournament champion, 4-time defending regular season champion. Gordy Presnell has his hands full today.
Boise State sure does. It's a quick turnaround from yesterday, but very motivated 8 seniors on this Bronco team. And if you flash back the first meeting this season, the Broncos in Boise were actually up about 7 points heading into the fourth quarter on UNLV. So a little bit of confidence gain from that first meeting.
Yesterday, Gordy Presnell got his 21st Mountain West tournament win, tying the all-time record. For UNLV, speaking of honors for head coaches, Lindy LaRocque this week named the Mountain West Coach of the Year for the 3rd time in her 5 seasons. The Las Vegas native has her team coming in at 24-6 on the year. This is an outstanding group, Kelly, led by the senior point guard, Kiera Jackson, who only knows championships in her time in Las Vegas.
Kiera Jackson is actually Lindy LaRocque's very first recruit when she came in here to UNLV, but Jackson does it all, leading the league 5 assists per game. She can score the ball, can get downhill, shoot the 3 ball. She's a complete player in every sense of the word.
2-time all-conference Kiera Jackson, UNLV, trying to make it 4 consecutive tournament championships. Their road begins today against Boise State. Starting lineups and the opening tip when we return. Set for tip-off here in game number 1 of the day here at the Thomas and Mack quarterfinal action. UNLV and Boise State. Yesterday, the Broncos, a 6-point victory in the opening game of the tournament over the Nevada Wolfpack. They were led by their all-conference guard, Tatum Thompson. She had 14 points and 7 rebounds in that victory. Slog of a game between Boise State and Nevada in the opening game of the tournament. Kelly, the Broncos did not shoot well. They were just 33% from the floor and 1 of 11 from behind the 3. But the story of that game, they defended, and Abby Muse overcame some early foul trouble.
Arguably the Broncos' best defensive effort of the season, and that's a good sign for Gordy Presnell's squad, because this Broncos team has really been inconsistent on the defensive end. That's normally where Boise State hangs their hat.
UNLV coming in at 16-2 in conference, but they are coming in with the unfamiliar feeling of coming off a loss. Actually fell last Wednesday night in a nationally televised game on the road in Laramie, Wyoming. They're back here in Las Vegas. They are led by their 2 seniors, Kiera Jackson and Alyssa Brown, who will tip it off right now with Abby Muse. Their leading scorer, the all-conference guard, Amarachi Kimson, a dynamic mid-range shooter, but really a 3-level scorer for Lindy LaRocque, and UNLV has the opening possession of the basketball game.
And I predict you're going to see an angry UNLV squad here today coming off that loss against Wyoming.
And right on cue, a corner 3 rolls in off the hand of Aaliyah Alexander, the grad transfer from Federal Way, Washington. Played at Eastern Washington before coming over here to UNLV. Leads this team in 3-pointers, 3-point field goal percentage, and she got on the board first. But a good answer right there for Boise State. If they're going to hang with UNLV today, they got to score in the paint, and Abby Muse did just that.
Abby Muse needs to continue to be aggressive in hunting her shot. She really set the tone yesterday for the Broncos, and if they're going to have a chance of pulling the upset of the number 1 seed, she has to play really well.
Zone defense here in the early going out of Boise State. Kimson lost her footing. And a whistle, and she stepped out of bounds, and UNLV turns it back over to Boise State. It looked like Amarachi Kimpson just blew a tire.
Pretty much, just kind of lost her footing, was trying to get the ball out before she went out of bounds, but early turnover for UNLV.
Right away, they go back to the post. This time they play inside out. And a good sign for Boise State. Natalie Pasco drills her first 3 of the game. Again, they were just 1 of 11 from behind the arc in that win yesterday against Nevada.
But Boise State can take a lot of confidence in that they're the underdog. They're not expected to win this, so it can allow them to play a little bit freer.
Alexander pump fake, steps inside the arc, but too strong right there. Kimpson runs down the long rebound in the lane and drops it in.
I'm interested to see how long this 2-3 zone defense lasts for the Broncos, because UNLV, they can light it up from 3. So if they get that 3-point shot going, we will see them move back to a man-to-man.
Abby Muse has touched the ball on every possession so far. Broncos want to do their damage in the paint. That time, Muse looking for the continuation. Lays it in, and the foul. She got it. Nice footwork right there from Abby Muse. She had 2 fouls in the opening quarter yesterday, Kelly, and Gordy Presnell went back to her, and it paid huge dividends. I don't know if they win that game against Nevada if Abby Muse would have been on the bench any longer.
Impacting then both ends of the floor yesterday in that win over Nevada. But Alyssa Brown for UNLV has to do a better job pushing Abby Muse out of her sweet spot in the post.
Jackson a crossover and a pull-up at the elbow. That's her shot. That time it doesn't go down. An outlet to the point guard, Mary Kay Narrow, playing her 150th career game today. And her career has been full of moments like that. A beautiful backdoor feed to Tatum Thompson for the layup.
Narrow is so impressive, especially in transition. The ability to thread that ball on a string into tight spaces, and Thompson with the finish.
Kenna Brackens catches at the elbow, puts it on the floor. Kimpson open corner 3, splashes it.
That's why it's tough to help down off of UNLV players, because the Lady Rebels are so balanced. You have to pick your poison.
Good shooting from both sides here in the early going. Boise State has made their first 4 shots from the floor. Danny Bays had a tough shooting game yesterday. Gives it up to Tatum Thompson, and she connects on the 3-ball.
Good sign for the Broncos so far. 3-ball is falling after a rough shooting performance yesterday. That's really going to open things up inside for Abby Muse and Tatum Thompson.
Yeah, we're just less than 4 minutes into this game. Boise State has already hit more 3s today than they did all of yesterday. But Amarachi Kimpson right there with the answer. She's already got 8 points.
Back-to-back 3s now from UNLV. Broncos have to switch out of this zone. You cannot be trading 2s for 3s with UNLV.
The tip shot is up and in from Abby Muse. Boise State up by 3 here in the first quarter. This is good end-to-end offensive basketball. Karen Jackson splits the defense, gets into the lane, left it a little bit short. Able to gather up her own miss. Alexander will take a top of the key 3, and Thompson is there to pull down that rebound. Muse in the post, this time backing on Brackens. They repost.
Well, you'll notice, too, the UNLV defenders, Brown is now guarding Thompson. McKenna Brackens has switched on to Muse.
Thompson put it on the floor and goes to the lane. Strong move right down the paint.
Thompson's ability to attack off the bounce, but also stretch the floor, makes her such a difficult guard, because you have to go and close out on her, and then she has that quick first step to blow by you.
Jackson now with 10 on the shot clock. Brown a catch and shoot 3 from the corner. Narrow ahead to Bays. She'll fire that 3 and connect. Danny Bays finally gets off the schneid here at the Mountain West Tournament. Her first field goal, and it's of the three-point variety.
The Lady Rebels are going to have to do a better job going out running the Broncos off that three-point line. Now, that's 3 triples to start this game.
7-0 run, Boise State. Aaliyah Alexander says it's time to put an end to that. Drills the corner 3.
Alexander, her second triple of this game, and she's just being the benefactor of this zone. The ball movement allows her to, that corner 3 is what's going to be open against a 2-3 zone.
Pasco off the dribble handoff from Muse. High scoring opening quarter here at the Thomas and Mack. Jackson puts her head down and gets all the way to the rim to finish.
Kiera Jackson is at her best in transition, attacking off the bounce. She's got such good body control around the basket.
Kiera Jackson has won 4 regular season championships at UNLV in the Mountain West, 3 tournament titles. Danny Bays right on cue. She's had the hot hand in the last minute.
We're seeing Boise State shoot the ball so much better today, and some of that is just getting the early jitters out. Playing that first game, there's a level of comfort now in this gym.
Broncos are 9 of 11 from the field. They have made all 3 from downtown.
Could not be off to a hotter start for Boise State.
Danny Bays once again, and she has scored the last 7 points now for Boise State.
Gordy Presnell said Danny Bays has to be our X factor in this tournament if we're going to make a run.
And Mary Kay Narrow commits the foul on Kiera Jackson. That brings us to a timeout on the floor. Boise State is on fire. Danny Bays and the Broncos up 7 here in the first. Well, Kelly Burke, we said after yesterday's win over Nevada, Danny Bays was going to need a bounce-back game. And she's had a bounce-back first quarter here this morning.
Already 7 points. Danny Bays is cooking right now. 3 of 4 from the field. She's hunting her shot. Broncos are sharing the basketball really exceptionally right now. 9 assists on 10 made baskets. And Boise State right now playing with major fire. They've got nothing to lose, and they're playing real loose right now. Putting a little bit of an early scare into UNLV.
A happy 100th game in her career at Boise State so far here for Danny Bays. Plus, another milestone hit. Mary Kay Narrow is now at 600 career assists. She's number 2 on Boise State's all-time leaderboard. Kiera Jackson left it short. Thompson pulled down the rebound. 1 substitution out of the break. Elodie Lalott into the game for Boise State and Gordy Presnell. Meadow Rowland, the Mountain West Freshman of the Year, in the game now, and she bodies with Lalott.
Rowland's doing a better job of pushing the post players of Boise State a little bit out of their spots in the paint.
Bays with an errant pass. It was stolen by Alexander. Tatum Thompson the chase down.
Boise State doing it again. The recovery when off of steals, the ability to block shots is so impressive.
And they feed the post, and Lalott spins and lays it in, and it's a 9-point game. Boise State 11 of 13 from the floor.
And a lot of coaches will tell you, yes, it's nice to have the first day bye, but there's also a lot of trepidation because sometimes you can be a little bit flat here starting the first game of the tournament.
Kiera Jackson misses on the layup. Narrow pushes it into the front court. Danny Bays curls off the screen. Not that time. Jackson pushes it into the front court. So poised with the basketball, but the runner a bit too strong. And Danny Bays comes up with it.
Jackson's gotten some really good looks attacking off the bounce. She just hasn't quite been able to finish, and credit a lot of that to the size and the post of Boise State right now, making it contested and tough.
Noon local time tip-off here today. Game number 1 of the quarterfinal round. Well defended there by Jackson.
It's going to be on Pasco. Rowland had the positioning.
Second team foul on Boise State. First on Natalie Pasco, the junior from Danville, California. Also for UNLV, game number 20, Casey James. Jackson lobs it down low and had it knocked away from Macy James. Active hands there for Boise State. Jada Clark brings it across. Her first appearance today. Season high 7 points yesterday in the win over Nevada. Libby Hutton onto the floor as well. Depth, one of the strengths of this Boise State team. And nice hands right there by James.
Lady Rebels have to capitalize off these steals.
Rowland puts it on the floor, spins in a pretty move with the soft touch. Lindy LaRocque has called Meadow Rowland her best back-to-the-basket player, and those skills on display right there.
Coach LaRocque actually told me last year when Rowland was redshirting that she has the potential to be better than Desiree Young. That is a big statement. But Rowland getting more minutes as a freshman than Young did her freshman year.
Desiree Young, the legend, whose career concluded last season. Much more balanced team for UNLV this season. 5 Lady Rebels average in double figures this season. Last year it was just Desiree Young at 18 and Kiera Jackson at 12 again.
Let's pick your poison really in this Lady Rebels squad.
Jackson goes to work, end of the quarter. Floater doesn't fall. Tough shooting first quarter for Kiera Jackson. Outstanding shooting first quarter for Boise State. They lead it by 7 as we head to the second. It's quarterfinal action in Las Vegas. Story of that opening quarter, the shooting of Boise State, but the leading scorer in this basketball game is the all-conference guard Amarachi Kimpson out of Little Elm, Texas.
Forward from the field, Kimpson has stepped up in a big way, especially with Kiera Jackson off to a slow start in this one. And that's what makes the Lady Rebels so tough. Kimpson has that ability to score at all 3 levels as well. This is a balanced UNLV squad. I'd like to see UNLV make it a point to get the ball to either McKenna Brackens or Alyssa Brown more, or run Rowlands in her inside so that it can open things up a little bit for the shooters of UNLV.
Kennedy Winfrey into the game for Lindy LaRocque to begin this second quarter. And we had an offensive foul as Jada Clark was dinged for the moving screen.
Attention to detail in tournament games becomes so important. Just doing the little things like setting a screen, coming to a stop so that you don't get called for a moving screen. Every possession matters in a tournament game like this.
Every possession matters when you're playing the 3-time defending Mountain West Tournament champions right here in Las Vegas. Elodie Lalott went over the back. Rowland chased it down, though. Saves the possession for UNLV. Macy Spencer, the sophomore, now into the game. Kimpson looking for Rowland. Picks up her dribble, and she got clobbered.
Meadow Rowland, the foul really bailing her out there as a double team had come over as Lalott had recovered in time. But UNLV, they're struggling a little bit right now with the physicality that Boise State is playing with, especially inside.
Dealing with Elodie Lalott makes for a long afternoon. She's physical. She's a tough matchup. She is strong in the post. Gordy Presnell reinserts Abby Muse into the basketball game. A couple other reserves, Libby Hutton and Millie Sharp on the floor right now for Boise State. Broncos 5-time tournament champions. They four-peated from 2017 to 2020. A list of Boise State legends that put that dynasty together. Impressive. Brooke Pawakoa, Riley Lupfer, Ashanti Coleman, Marta Ermida, Brady Hodgins.
UNLV now into a 2-3 zone, switching up the defenses. I like the move to give a different look to this Broncos squad.
Of course, UNLV has won this tournament now 3 times in a row. They go for the 4-peat this year.
The Broncos have to work that ball into the high post area.
Sharp, a long cross-court pass to Pasco. They got to get it up. Clark does just that. Long rebound, tapped, and a new possession now for Boise State.
That's the danger of the zone, is just on the box side. So you have to find whoever is closest to you and put a body on it.
Sharp got a good look. It's knocked out of bounds, and it will be Lady Rebel basketball. UNLV went 8-4 in the non-conference this year. They played the 23rd toughest non-conference schedule in the country. Had losses at Arizona, against Oklahoma, Baylor, Northwestern.
In that Baylor game, UNLV actually led with a minute left in that game. Narrowly missed pulling the upset.
That Oklahoma game was their only loss of the season that was not by single digits. Kimson goes to work, got the step, and gets the friendly roll.
Kimson needs to continue to attack off the bounce for that mid-range pull-up game. She has such good elevation over defenders and really exceptional body control.
She's in double figures with 10. Rowland sends Thompson's shot right back to her.
The Broncos have done a good job in transition defense of limiting any early looks.
Spencer goes baseline, goes into the body on Clark and draws the contact. Second personal on Jada Clark. Just over 2 minutes gone by of this second quarter. Kiera Jackson returns for UNLV, as does McKenna Brackens, the 6'1" sophomore from Fairfield, Texas. Second year at UNLV. Brackens moved into the starting lineup this season for Lindy LaRock.
McKenna Brackens has that potential. We've seen glimpses where she can absolutely take over a game and dominate. And now her next step, especially heading into the offseason, is just doing it consistently.
Lady Rebels have cut the lead to 2. Such a balanced scoring attack from UNLV. 7 different players have been a leading scorer in games this season. And a huge block right in front of her own bench. And Kennedy Winfrey gets lifted up into the mosh pit amongst the Lady Rebels.
This 2-3 zone defense and the trap at the half court has really given the Lady Rebels some life here to start the second quarter.
Broncos have yet to score here in this quarter. Taryn Gardner steps inside the arc off the closeout and knocks down the mid-range jump shot.
And a nice job by the freshman. Thought about the three-pointer, put it on the floor, and Alyssa Brown could not close out in time.
Alexander backs on Pasco. Gets the friendly Las Vegas roll.
Lady Rebels having a lot of success this quarter, getting to that pinch post, mid-range area off of initial dribble penetrations.
Arrow refeeds Thompson. Foul called away from the basketball. They called that on McKenna Brackens.
On for UNLV, number 32, Meadow Rowland.
Boise State turns it back over. Taryn Gardner called for the traveling infraction.
And the Broncos have done a pretty good job so far of not turning the ball over. That was something that they struggled with a little bit early in the first half yesterday.
UNLV with a chance to tie or take the lead on this possession. Macy Spencer pull-up triple early on in the shot clock. Boy, Mary Kay Narrow plays with such pace, always looking to create. Good ball movement there from the Broncos. Pasco had a good look.
This is where UNLV has to push.
Jackson had it partially blocked by Pasco.
Yeah, the length right now the Broncos inside is really causing an issue for UNLV guards, especially in transition.
Yeah, Jackson won for her first 8 from the floor today. Pass deflected and stolen. Rowland operates, turns, too strong.
Great look, though, from Rowland, and that's a shot she's fully capable of making.
What a pass and a score. Abby Muse, tough catch in traffic and laid it in with the left hand. And Muse has 8 points.
Abby Muse continues to be a major factor in this tournament for Boise State.
Jackson has it rejected by Boise State's all-time block shot leader, Abby Muse.
Great defense there from Muse, not leaving her feet. Knew that Jackson would likely go to that pull-up J.
Yeah, top 20 in the country in blocked shots. That time her pass was deflected, 2-on-1. Spencer over to Jackson, a pump fake, but got it stripped from behind by Tatum Thompson, hustling back on defense. Thompson catches at the nail, turns. Pascal now a 3-ball. Alyssa Brown comes down with it, the senior from Tucson. Mountain West Tournament MVP last year, Alyssa Brown. Spencer, baseline express, doesn't fall, but the putback is up and in from Meadow Rowland.
Meadow Rowland's really been the difference inside so far in this game for UNLV, giving the Lady Rebels some putbacks, offense off the bench instantly.
Alyssa Brown goes to the floor, comes up with the loose ball, collects it, shovels it ahead. And here goes Kiera Jackson now. Brown, a pump fake, puts her head down. Now Jackson blows by the defender, lid on the bucket for Kiera Jackson. Alyssa Brown the follow, and she was fouled from behind.
Boise State overall had really controlled the boards, limited UNLV to one and done, but the last couple of possessions, UNLV getting active on the glass. Abby Muso on a roll, 8 points already, as the Broncos still up 2.
Boise State up 2. Inside 4 minutes left here in this first half. Broncos shooting 50% from the field. They have been led by Abby Muse with 8 points. She has made all 4 of her shots and 5 rebounds. Muse yesterday, 8 points, 9 rebounds, and a couple of blocks in the win over Nevada in her 5th year at Boise State. She was the Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year 2 years ago, top rim protector in this conference. And Abby Muse right now has Boise State with a first half lead on the regular season champions.
Abby Muse, she's had an up and down season, but this is good. This is like Abby Muse in her best form that Courtney Presnell expected to see all year, and might as well close out your career playing your best basketball.
Empty trip to the line there for Alyssa Brown, and now Abby Muse and the Broncos have the lead. Muse on the bench currently. Elodie Lalott in the post right now for Boise State going against this UNLV zone. Good ball movement from the Broncos, but unfortunately Lalott couldn't collect that pass. Brown goes right into the defender, and she's called for the offensive foul. That was Alyssa Christensen that established position.
And Brown just has to do a better job recognizing, keeping her head up. When Christensen slides over, beats Brown to the spot, you got to get rid of that basketball.
Christensen right into the game, and
or at the very least, what Brown needed to do is jump stop and go up for a mid-range jumper, because that was going to be a very obvious offensive foul.
Bays has been hot, and she keeps it rolling here late in the second quarter. Bays the first Bronco in double figures with 10.
UNLV's going to have to make that adjustment and start face guarding Danny Bays a little bit more. She probably wasn't super high on the scouting report, but she does have that ability to go off for 20 points.
Step back doesn't fall from Alexander. Outlet to Mary Kay Nero. Picks up her dribble. Christensen, she'll take that three. Left it way short. Saved by Gardner, but Abby Muse stepped on the end line. Anila Rock will put Macy Spencer back onto the floor. LaRock, the Las Vegas native, 126 wins in her 5 years at UNLV.
Just incredible the way that she has resurrected this UNLV program so quickly. She's sort of the standard bearer for what other coaches in this league are trying to do as far as consistency. We talked to San Diego State coach Stacey Terry Hudson earlier this week, and she said she's so much respect for LaRock because that's what every other coach is chasing, that consistent, great team year after year.
Nero finds Muse. She put it on the floor. passes up the shot under the rim for the corner three. Bays couldn't get it to fall, but a second chance opportunity now for Boise State. Christensen, that's back-to-back air balls from Alyssa Christensen. 8 on the shot clock. In the corner, Gardner, that's a good look. Bays, the offensive rebound on the weak side.
Boise State doing a great job crashing the offensive glass. And when you give the Broncos 3, 4 offensive boards and extra possessions, they're going to make you pay.
6th assist for Mary Kay Nero. Kimson, a step-back triple.
Kimson is lethal with that step-back. She can do it from the mid-range. She can do it from 3. Amarachi Kimson, she's got Player of the Year status for the future written all over her.
All conference this year, she's already hit 3 threes in this first half. And now Meadow Rowland out on the run for an easy 2. And UNLV has knotted this game up with just over a minute left.
1 minute remaining in the first half. 1 minute.
And traveling violation, UNLV with a chance to take the lead on this possession.
This is what UNLV does. They get some defensive stops and deflections, and they turn it into offense the other way. And Lady Rebels making a late run here to close the half. They just have that ability to blitz you very quickly in 60 seconds to 2 minutes.
And an offensive foul as Kennedy Winfrey is called for the moving screen violation. UNLV turns it back over. Amarachi Kimson, 17 points. She's 7 of 8 from the floor. Danny Bays, she's had the hot hand. Not that time. Danny Bays has hit multiple three-pointers in 17 games now this season.
Bays needs to continue to shoot the ball with confidence. She can be the X factor in this game. She's getting open looks from 3 because UNLV's been in that zone.
Kiara Jackson, 4-3 late in the shot clock. Doesn't go. Rebound to Danny Bays. Let's see if she can get one more heave up. Didn't get it off in time. And that brings us to the break. Jesse Kurtz and Jade Thomas will have your halftime show coming up after 2 quarters. We're back to where we started, tied up at 34 here in Las Vegas.
And welcome back inside the Thomas and Mack Center, day 2 of the Mountain West Women's Basketball Championships here in the fabulous Las Vegas. To tip things off, we have here for you the Mountain West Women's Basketball Players of the Week as voted on by our league's head coaches. I'm Carly Drew. Let's get right into it. The Mountain West Women's Basketball Player of the Year is Wyoming's Allison Fertig. The Cowgirl closed out the regular season averaging 19.5 points, 11.5 boards, all while shooting just over 58% from the floor. Fertig earned Mountain West Player of the Week recognition 3 times this season and was also named the 2024-2025 preseason Co-Player of the Year. In her collegiate career, the Wyoming native was named the 2021-2022 Freshman of the Year and has been decorated with all Mountain West honors each year. The Wyoming native is the first Cowgirl to earn the Player of the Year award since the 2017-2018 season and led Wyoming to a 14-4 conference record, a number 2 seed in the Credit Union 1 Mountain West Women's Basketball Championship, and a first-round bye. The Mountain West Women's Basketball Defensive Player of the Year is Wyoming's Emily Mellema. Mellema averaged just nearly 10 points, over 3 rebounds, and just over 2 steals per game. She shot nearly 45% from the field during conference action. Colorado State's Emma Ronsick has been tabbed as the Mountain West Women's Basketball Newcomer of the Year. As a Ram, Ronsick averaged nearly 18 points and over 6 boards while guiding the green and gold to a 13-5 record in conference play, earning the 3rd seed and a first-round bye in the Mountain West tournament. Taking the Mountain West Women's Basketball Freshman and 6th Player of the Year award is UNLV's Meadow Rowland. For the 2nd year in a row, the Lady Rebels have earned both honors. Off the bench, Rowland averaged just over 11 points and 5 rebounds and shot almost 60% from the hardwood. The Lady Rebel earned the Mountain West Freshman of the Week honors 4 times this season. Earning the Mountain West Women's Basketball Coach of the Year honors is UNLV's Lindy LaRocque. This is the 3rd time in LaRocque's 5-year tenure she's been named Coach of the Year and the only coach to earn the honor for the Scarlet and Gray program. The Las Vegas native led the Lady Rebels to a 16-2 conference record, a 4th consecutive regular season title, and a number 1 seed in the league tournament with a first-round bye.
You can find a full list of honorees right at the MW.com. But obviously, you're going to want to stay with us because we have Jade Thomas joined alongside me. We're looking back at this first half of the game. UNLV, Boise State, up 34-34. Welcome back inside the Thomas and Mack Center where we have Boise State, UNLV tied up at 34-34. Oh my goodness, Jade Thomas, what an absolute battle that we saw in this very first half. Initial thoughts from the Lady Rebels and the Broncos.
What a tale of 2 quarters. Boise State had 25 points in the first quarter, only 9 points in the second quarter. UNLV dominated that second quarter.
Absolutely, and I feel like the Broncos, yesterday, Abby Muse said that they were going to come in hot, and they did absolutely just that. Taking a look at some highlights, Natalie Pasco, she kind of finished, refilled that drought of making that first shot here in the first quarter. We got that assist from Muse there, and then looking on, Lady Rebels answered. McKenna Brackens taking it over to Amarachi Kimson with an awesome 3-ball.
Yeah, it was definitely back and forth. Both teams are shooting well from beyond the arc, at least in specific quarters. But I like how Boise State is moving the ball, and Danny Bays, man, has she played today so far.
And Gordy Presnell, coach of the Broncos, saying that she's really the X factor. Career highs she's making in assists this game. And then looking overhead, back over to Meadow Rowland, proving why she's the 6th player and freshman of the year. What are you liking from her?
I'm liking, they were saying earlier how she gives glimpses of Desi Ray Young, and every player is their own individual player, but I really like how she's so good with her back to the basket and finishing. She makes great moves down there and strong finishes.
And then just looking over to the Broncos, I feel like they are key with Abby Muse, doing what she does best, getting inside the post. But then, of course, Amarachi Kimson back again with a layup. We'd love to see that.
Absolutely. The turnovers are going to be crucial for both teams this quarter.
Looking at these halftime stats, Jade, what's standing out to you? What do you think they need to do in order to, have a battle here today?
UNLV is 50% from beyond the arc. That is incredible. Both teams are going to the zone to try to stretch the defenses, stretch the offenses, make them find the holes. So it'll be interesting to see if they can keep that up.
Well, Jade, thank you so much for your analysis. It's going to be a really great game. Kelly Burke and Nate Kreckman will be on the call right after the break. Stay with us.
Back with you at the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas, ready to get this 3rd quarter started. Nate Kreckman and my partner Kelly Burke here with you on the Mountain West Network this afternoon. Game number 1 of 4, tied at 34 here at the half. Story of this game, Amarachi Kimson can't be stopped. 17 points on 7 of 8 shooting in that opening half for UNLV. For Boise State, Danny Bays and Abby Muse both in double figures as we get this second half started and underway. And right away, UNLV goes into the paint to McKenna Brackens, but she is not able to cash in.
Boise State continues to make it tough defensively on the post players of the Lady Rebels inside. Just absolutely converging, great help defense.
Thompson turns, fades, tough look. Got it to go off the glass.
Thompson just has such a good feel for angles and where she is on the court.
Go inside to Brackens once again. She got pushed from behind, and the first team foul of this third quarter is on Boise State. That's Thompson. Thompson 9 points in that first half, along with 5 rebounds. She put up 14 and 7 yesterday in the win over Nevada. Inbound to Kiera Jackson. And Jackson misses her first field goal attempt of this second half. Just 1 of 13 from the floor now in the basketball game.
And I'd like to see Kiera Jackson really attack off the bounce, try and get to the rim, to try and see that ball go through the basket to help her mentally just get in a better offensive rhythm.
Bays curls off the screen, and Kimson got a hand on it. Back come the Lady Rebels. Jackson looking, creating. Brown open three. And Narrow tracks down the long rebound. Mary Kay Narrow, her 4th rebound to go with 6 assists. Thompson, another turnaround. That's her shot. And Boise State has scored the first 4 points of the second half.
Tatum Thompson has such a smooth game, the ability to score at every level. And even in that mid-range game, you got to push her out more.
Brackens, another paint touch, and Danny Bays swats it away.
Super nice move by Danny Bays, who gives up a couple inches to Brackens.
Hughes left alone, drills it from the mid-range, 6-0 run, Boise State.
If UNLV wants to take control of this game, close this 6-point deficit, it has to start on the defensive end, have to go out and contest better, and do a better job defending the post players of the Broncos.
Boise State has come out of the locker room firing here in this second half. Got an ISO touch for Kimson right here. Muse steps out on her. Kimson's got to go. And another stop for Boise State.
No flow in this UNLV offense right now. Too much dribbling going on. The ball movement and the ball reversal has to be much better.
Wide open look for Bays, but she hustles down the miss. Feeds it to Muse. Can't get it to go. Alyssa Brown rips down the rebound and gets the outlet pass to Jackson. Jackson gets herself to the free throw line. That's what you talked about, Kelly. Kiera Jackson going to go to the stripe. She just needs to see the ball go through the basket.
I mean, exactly. She's a phenomenal shooter. She can score at every level, but she's a senior, so I guarantee you she's pressing a little bit in this game, just because it's her last tournament here in the Mountain West of her college career. And so you just need to see that ball go in the basket. You can do that from the free throw line. When you're attacking off the dribble, getting to that rim, at the very least, you're going to get fouled and go to the charity stripe.
71% foul shooter in the regular season. Kiera Jackson, one of the all-time great Lady Rebels. All Mountain West for the second year in a row. Leads the conference in assists. She's second in the country in assist to turnover ratio. She trails only UConn's Paige Beckers in that statistical marker.
Yeah, she's an unbelievable point guard. I mean, you were telling me yesterday she was your dark horse that you could have argued should have won Player of the Year.
It's tough because UNLV is so balanced. They don't have somebody with an outsized scoring average, which is usually what awards voters look like. Danny Bays hits another triple. That's her 3rd of the basketball game. She leads Boise State with 13 points. The lead is 7.
Bays just making the UNL defense pay for going to a zone and leaving her wide open on the weak side.
Alexander tears down her own rebound, knocks into Bays, and drew the contact. Danny Bays took a shot to the nose.
And look at this ball reversal from the Broncos. Lady Rebels in a zone defense, and that weak side is what is going to be open. Danny Bays continues to be a clutch shot maker in this game.
She's got 13 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Stuff in the stat sheet here this afternoon is Danny Bays, and our officials head to the monitor to try and see if there was potentially any excess contact.
So the play's under review for an unobserved intentional foul. So it's right there on that exact play. Is there contact above the shoulders?
We'll take a timeout. Our officials at the monitor. We're back after this. We're going to get the determination.
After review, the call on the floor stands. It will be a common foul.
This is a common foul,
shots for
and here's why. Because while there is some contact above the shoulders, it's related to a play on the basketball. And so typically you're only going to see it be an intentional foul if there's unnecessary contact to the face or above the shoulders and it's not a play being made on the actual basketball. But that was sort of incidental contact. She's on her way down. She doesn't have any control of her body at that point.
So the call on the floor stands, and they will stay with a 2-shot foul awarded to Aaliyah Alexander. Foul is on Danny Bays. That is her first personal. Just unfortunately for Danny Bays, she committed the foul with her face. Bays with 13 points so far in this game after a tough shooting day yesterday. She has really bounced back. Part of this outstanding junior class with Natalie Pasco, Tatum Thompson, Maya Hansen, who's not been able to play so far here in this tournament, although there's some optimism amongst the Boise State people that she could be available if the Broncos should move on and pull the upset today and beat UNLV.
And that's why Danny Bays' production today has been so important with Maya Hansen out. She's sort of that third scorer that's consistent and reliable for Boise State.
Muse looking for the cutter. Instead, Thompson and Alexander tussle for the basketball on the floor.
UNLV down 7 here. They have to, or down 6 rather. They have to play with more urgency the rest of this quarter and a half that's left in this game if they want to avoid getting upset in the quarterfinals.
UNLV just saw their 8-game win streak snapped in a loss up in Laramie last week. Thompson with the shot clock winding down, puts it on the floor and takes it to the rack.
Thompson is just so skilled, whether it's off the bounce, on that mid-range look, but she elevates up over defenders, and she finishes so well off the glass.
That's assist number 8 now for Mary Kay Nero. We got an 8-point game, Boise State in the third, and just like that, UNLV calls Amarachi Kimpson's number, and she gets her first bucket of the second half.
Kimpson's going to have to continue to step up, especially with Kiara Jackson struggling on the offensive end.
Not that time for Thompson. Kimpson the rebound, and she pushes the tempo. Good job by Boise State to get back in transition defense. Kimpson launches the 3, and the rebound volleyballed out to midcourt and chased down by Spencer. New possession now for UNLV. Kimpson splits 2 defenders. Kicks it out to Rowland. Rowland goes right down the paint for 2.
And that is where Meta Rowland is so difficult. She has the ability to finish with either hand, and she can get pushed off the block a little bit on those drives and still finish high off the backboard.
Bays curls off the screen, catches and connects.
Danny Bays is having a tournament game to remember. And remember, she's going to have 1 year left. She will be a senior next year, but having really the game of her life right now.
Team high 15 right now for the Broncos. Out on Kimpson. Kimpson probes, looks, over to Alexander, and finally it goes down. And we got a timeout on the floor in a 4-point game. 4:24 left here in the third quarter. Boise State with the lead. Boise State up 4, but Amarachi Kimpson has kept UNLV in this game. Aaliyah Alexander with a bucket right there before the timeout. The question here, Kelly, is how does UNLV find some consistent offense here and get enough stops to perhaps come back and take the lead here in Las Vegas?
I look for Meta Rowland to step up because UNLV right now, they need a consistent third scorer for this last quarter and a half if the Lady Rebels are going to advance to the semis.
Jackson hounding Bays. Finally got it over to their point guard, Mary Kay Nero. Nero, by the way, up to 8 assists on the day. Whistle as Muse was bodying with Rowland underneath, and the foul was called on Meadow Rowland. First team foul of this third quarter on the Lady Rebs. Thompson, jab step, drive, and lays it in.
And Thompson's just taking advantage. Alyssa Brown was a little bit out of position because she had kind of come down to crowd Abby Muse in the paint. Thompson, that quick first step, just got around her and had the angle.
Boy, Nero not giving an inch to Kimson. And she cuts off Jackson. Muse went over the back and got whistled.
And UNLV has to continue to do that. Try and work the ball inside to Meadow Rowland or Alyssa Brown to try and open things up for the shooters on the perimeter and those driving lanes for these UNLV guards. But right now, this UNLV offense very one-dimensional.
That dimension has largely been Amarachi Kimson. See if Jackson can get going. She left that one short. Big offensive rebound pulled down by Rowland. Another opportunity for Jackson, and this time she cashes in.
One of the things I respect most about Kiera Jackson is she has a way of impacting the game, even when her shot isn't falling, but she'll keep shooting it because she has that much confidence in her offensive ability and hits big shots when it matters.
So poised, always in control. Bays got hit on the arm. That will send her to the stripe. Bays with 15. Tatum Thompson also with 15 right now for Boise State. Foul was called on Alexander. First personal on Aaliyah Alexander. Danny Bays, a member of the Mountain West All-Freshman team 2 years ago, and good to see her having a great performance this afternoon. Kelly, we know Danny Bays is dealing with a lot right now off the basketball court.
Yeah, Danny's dad back in Australia is battling kidney cancer, and she fortunately got a chance to go home over the Christmas break. This Boise State staff actually bought her a ticket to go home to Australia to spend some time with her dad, but it's been really hard for her, especially being so far away from home. You know, her dad obviously doing his best to battle it, and very an emotional time for her that she's trying to navigate through basketball season. And that also includes Jada Clark, too, who lost her dad a little bit over about a year and 2 months ago to kidney cancer as well. So these two bonded by that mutual shared bond over, you know, two unfortunate situations with both of their dads.
Well, basketball has been their refuge, and the Broncos have built the lead up to 7 points here in the third. Alyssa Brown looking for an answer, and she gets it. Timeout called. Alyssa Brown, last year's tournament MVP. Just her second made field goal in this game.
And somebody else for UNLV had to pick up the scoring slack because this defense is so focused right now on Kimson and Alexander, but Alyssa Brown stretching the floor. She does have the ability to knock down threes at a pretty high clip. And so she made this defense pay for not coming out to guard her.
Yeah, Alyssa Brown, leading rebounder and shot blocker on this team, but she also shoots 32% from behind the arc. In her 4th year at UNLV, Alyssa Brown and Kiera Jackson, a part of this senior class that only knows championships. But right now, Boise State has the top seed UNLV on the ropes with 2.5 minutes to go here in this third quarter.
A little bit of backcourt pressure.
Thompson gets it across. Jada Clark has now come into the game for Boise. Pasco looking for Muse. And Brackett's put her hand in the passing lane. Gets to Jackson out on the run. Thompson got back and gets the rejection. Stolen away by UNLV. And Kiera Jackson misses from point-blank range. It has been that kind of day for Kiera Jackson. She is 2 of 18 shooting the basketball.
Lindy LaRocque looking over and just saying, hey, look, you're good. This is a great job. Again, the shot blocking ability of Tatum Thompson, the timing when you do not have position has been elite in this tournament.
She's got 15 and 6 in this game. Leading scorer on this team, named all conference. Muse, nice swing through the reverse. Left it just a little short.
A nice job by McKenna Brackens, not giving an inch to Abby Muse, forcing her to go to that reverse side.
Driving kick to the corner, an open three. Back iron, no good. Thompson comes away with it. Approaching the 1 minute mark of this third quarter. And a potential upset brewing here at the Mountain West Tournament. Shot clock now inside 10. Thompson's got to go. But an offensive foul. Yeah, they called a moving screen on Clark.
Second time today. So Jada Clark, she's just shuffling her feet. She needs to stop and make sure she's set. These are a costly time to have this because it feels like UNLV has grabbed back a little bit of momentum in this game.
And it's unfortunate, too, because that's a good look for Thompson.
Yes. I mean, and two, everything behind that defense was wide open. Nobody was on the backside near the rim, protecting the rim.
And nobody defending McKenna Brackens, but she can't get it to fall. Lindy LaRock perplexed right now.
Just missing some point-blank bunnies around the basket, and it's not just been one person. It's been kind of contagious for this entire UNLV team, with the exception of Kimson and Alexander.
Tatum Thompson not missing right there. Shot clock turned off. Lady Rebels need a bucket here before the end of the quarter.
Oh, Brackens is so open.
It got it to her, but she got doubled. Unfortunately for Boise State, a whistle just before the end of the quarter. And that'll put McKenna Brackens at the line. They came over and doubled Brackens, but committed the foul.
At the line for the Lady Rebels, number 21, McKenna Brackens, shooting 2 shots.
Brackens, the sophomore from Fairfield, Texas. Thompson pulls it down. That brings us to the end of the third. Boise State bidding for the upset. Up 5 as we go to the fourth. Boise State +5 in that third quarter. A big reason, the play of Tatum Thompson.
Is doing it all so far in this game. She has been so red hot from the mid-range, can attack off the bounce, and she's such a good finisher. Really understands going off glass and her positioning to be the most efficient offensive player possible. And right now, Tatum Thompson in this game, 17 points, 8 of 11 from the field, 8 rebounds.
17 on 11 shots. You love that efficiency. UNLV, the top seed, finding themselves down 5 as we go to the fourth quarter.
And UNLV was in this position in Boise, was down 7 going into the fourth, came back to win in the last 15 seconds, so can draw some confidence from that. Although the Broncos can draw plenty of confidence from the fact that they're sitting with a 5-point lead here heading into the fourth against the top seed in the tournament.
Oh, and Kimson gets penetration against that zone and hits one from floater range. Back to a 1-score game. And that time, Thompson called for carrying. Frustration from Gordy Presnell. He did not agree with the call, but Boise State turns it back over.
The Broncos had done a good job of really limiting the turnovers in this half. That was just the 4th turnover of the half, but it comes at a costly time.
This is pressure time for Boise State and these upperclassmen. UNLV, they've played and they've won tough games, and Amarachi Kimson makes tough shots like that. And it's quickly a one-point game. You can't rattle UNLV, especially right here in Las Vegas.
No, and especially the non-conference schedule that this UNLV squad has played, battle-tested, played Baylor, played some really, really good non-conference opponents, plus just has that championship DNA in this program.
Well, that time, Lindsay Lavrovich giving Gordy Presnell some fourth-quarter bench minutes, and she got herself to the free throw line. Lavrovich's first appearance in this game today, the 5'9" senior from Gig Harbor, Washington. This is big. If you're Gordy Presnell, steal a couple of quick bench minutes. Danny Bays taking a rest right now. She's got 17 points, 7 rebounds, and a career-high 6 assists in this game.
And only 4 points shy of her career high at 21. Tough catch.
Jackson got it into Brackens, and a foul on the floor. They called the reach-in on Elodie Lalott. That's 3 on Lalott. And just like that, Bays is back into the game. She'll replace Natalie Pasco, who will get a quick rest.
Broncos have done a really nice job with their post defenders of being very physical with all of UNLV's inside threats.
It's been a tough shooting game here for Kiera Jackson. She finds McKenna Brackens for a top-of-the-key 3 that doesn't fall.
I don't necessarily like that shot. Brackens can make the three-pointer, but UNLV has to work for a better shot right now here early in the fourth quarter.
Lalott kick out. Lavrovich. Oh, it was halfway down. Boise State bench in disbelief. Don't understand the physics of that one. Now it's Jackson answering at the other end. That's a huge 5-point swing.
Jackson is at her best in the fourth quarter. Doesn't matter what's happened previously, how she struggled offensively. She just hits a different gear in the fourth quarter of games.
Lalott down in the paint. Back iron no good. Jackson goes to the rim, lays it in, and the Lady Rebels take the lead.
Jackson's such a short-term memory, and she's really starting to look for her shot, really understands defenses, and is so good attacking off the bounce.
2 for her first 18. She's made her last 2 from the floor. And contact and a foul called on Alexander. That's 3 now on Aaliyah Alexander. Second team foul on UNLV with over 7 minutes to go. 8-2 run to start the fourth here for UNLV.
This is the first time today that the Lady Rebels have led this game.
Tatum Thompson gets to the rack, lays it in with the left hand. Boise State back on top. Third lead change of this game. Brackens for the answer. Alyssa Brown, the offensive rebound, and she got shoved. She'll go to the line.
I just don't like that shot. It's early in the shot clock. I know you're open. It's a good open shot, but you can work to get a better open shot. And really doing it. Thompson continues to be a problem. UNLV is going to have to figure out a better way to defend her, whether it's sending 2 defenders at her, but she's been a huge difference maker today for Boise State, and she's a star in the making in this league.
That's Brown's first made free throw. She was 0 for her first 2. And now UNLV and Boise State trading leads in the fourth quarter.
For both of these teams, it just starts on the defensive end, getting a few stops here in the fourth.
No surprise, Boise goes to Thompson. Lavrovich doubled. Good ball movement, extra pass, narrow to Bays. Can't get it to go. Alyssa Brown, tough rebound. UNLV out on the run. Alexander to Rowland. Lindy LaRock fired up. Timeout, Boise State.
And And UNLV has grabbed the lead in this game off of transition opportunities. Meta Rowland from the finish on the dump down from Alexander.
UNLV up 3, and fourth quarter of a tournament game is where you can see the fresh leg advantage start to take hold.
No doubt, and Boise State may have to consider, has been sending 3 to the boards, but getting beat a lot the last couple of possessions in transition, so you may need to send 3 back in transition to make sure you do not give up easy transition baskets to the Lady Rebels. That is where UNLV is at their best.
UNLV has outscored Boise State 12-4 so far here in the fourth quarter, and they have ratcheted up the defensive intensity. And nothing easy right now for Boise State.
And that's what it takes, and the Broncos rather are going to have to come with that same intensity on the defensive end. We saw Boise State play some really good defensive stretches in this game in the first half.
Gordy Presnell goes back to his starting 5 with 6 minutes to go. Muse inside out. Thompson open 3, got it.
You just can't give Thompson that much space. She will make you pay. She has the ability and will hit big shots in critical moments.
Meadow Rowland for the answer. Doesn't fall. Tied at 62. Thompson, team high 22. Kimson a game high 23 for UNLV.
Continue to get the ball to Thompson and Bays.
And Abby Muse has had a good game and really has become a good passer out of the post throughout her career at Boise State.
No doubt. And so if Abby Muse gets this basketball, look for her. If a double or dig down comes, look for her to dump off to Thompson.
And Alyssa Brown got Thompson on the arm. The UNLV bench does not agree with that whistle. And a 2-shot foul.
That's a foul. It is. It was late, but she did get her on the left hand.
Really credit Thompson for making that adjustment in the air. She is such a bouncy, athletic player. She goes so high when she shoots. Most of the time, at 6'1" as a guard, she's shooting over a lot of the defenders in this conference.
She elevates so well. She actually sort of has that balance and elevation like a volleyball player, like a collegiate volleyball player. I've been so impressed with Tatum Thompson and her. I mean, she really is putting herself, if she can continue to have this type of consistent performances, next year she will be in the conversation for Player of the Year.
All Mountain West this season, averaging 13 points and 7 rebounds per game. Abby Muse got a hand on it, deflected out of bounds, but last touched by Boise State. Broncos have scored the last 4 points out of that last timeout to reclaim the lead. Kimson got a step on Bays, got to her spot, and knocks down the mid-range jumper.
And the Broncos have to do a better job of pushing Kimson away from those mid-range sweet spots that she is so effective in putting through.
Stolen by Jackson, 2-on-1 the other way. She'll pull up at the block and knock it down. Kiera Jackson has come to life offensively here in the fourth.
The Lady Rebels have gotten back in this ball game because of their defense. They are getting into passing lanes, causing deflections, and finishing from the defense, turning it into offense.
Rowland on the back of Abby Muse.
Because you'll remember the first half, UNLV forced 9 turnovers for the Broncos, but only turned them into 4 points the other way. This half, Kiera Jackson and company is finishing the defense to offense off of those turnovers.
Jackson has made her last 3 shots. And Kelly, you talked about this earlier. Kiera Jackson is a player that can go through those kind of prolonged cold spells, but she'll keep shooting and she'll shoot her way out of it.
Good shooters and elite players have that ability to have amnesia. You might be having the worst game of your life, but when the biggest stage, the biggest time of the game comes on, you're at your best. And that Kiera Jackson has just flipped a switch here in the fourth quarter.
Hughes goes 1 of 2. Jackson a drive and a kick to the corner. Alexander will slow things down. Kimson attacks narrow. Muse a huge rebound. That's number 10 in this game for Abby Muse to go with 13 points, a double-double. Don't forget, Abby Muse had a triple-double last year in the Mountain West Tournament against Utah State. Thompson in traffic. Dropped it off to Muse, who puts it up and in.
Thompson and Muse are so good at finding each other in the post area off of dump-offs, and just a tremendous passing from Tatum Thompson inside to Muse on the seal.
Tied back up. Alexander got a step, laid it in, and the foul. She'll go to the line for a three-point play opportunity.
The guard play of the Lady Rebels has really taken things over here in the fourth quarter. Look at the first quick step by Aaliyah Alexander and the finishing ability inside, the concentration to potentially give herself a three-point play.
Put just enough English on that one, off the glass, going away from the basket. That's a high degree of difficulty shot. You know she's worked on that. Completes the three-point play. Alexander, the Eastern Washington transfer, gives UNLV a three-point lead. Foul called on Kimson in the backcourt. First personal on Amarachi Kimson.
Well,
but that puts Boise State in the bonus.
This is big. Boise State's a good free throw shooting team as well. So this is really big here for the Broncos to be in the bonus here with over close to 4 minutes left in this game.
Two games in under 24 hours for Boise State. And when you're late in the dying minutes of the fourth quarter, this is where you really got to dig deep.
At this point, you're just playing on adrenaline. You know, you have the #1 seed pushed to the brink here. You're right in this game. You're thinking back to that early January game when you were up even in the closing minute of the game and you gave up a last-second basket with 15 seconds left to UNLV. You want redemption.
Kimson, a kick out to Jackson. She goes right at Bays. Bays got a hand on it with the block. Saved by Jackson. Alexander misses from inside the paint, and a reach-in foul is called on UNLV. That'll put Abby Muse at the line.
And this is where UNLV has to be smart and keep their composure. You are 90 feet away from the other basket, and you cannot be putting the Broncos on the free throw line, a good free throw shooting team who's in the bonus in the fourth quarter.
Third personal on McKenna Brackens. Alexander and Brown all with 3 fouls. Meadow Rowland has 3 fouls. She's on the bench right now. And a big first free throw knocked in by the 5th-year senior, Abby Muse from Brentwood, California. 67% foul shooter in the regular season, but clutch with 3:11 to go. And she cuts it to a 1-point game. Brown recollected the dribble, and she gets fouled. The physicality cranked up here in the fourth quarter.
And Alyssa Brown calling for that basketball. She wanted to go one-on-one with that matchup. Muse came over to help on the inside help defense, but Alyssa Brown here, a chance to give UNLV a little bit more of a cushion.
They called that on Thompson. That's her third personal. Great season again for Alyssa Brown. Honorable mention All-Mountain West. Leading rebounder and shot blocker on this team. Top 5 in the conference in both of those statistical categories. Backcourt pressure now from UNLV. Who's going to hit a big shot for Boise State? Inside 3 minutes to go. Mary Kay Narrow, career game number 150 at Boise State. It was stripped away from behind. And then a foul was called on Boise State.
Boise State better hope this is not on Tatum Thompson, because that would be her 4th. And she has been so exceptional for the Broncos today, and really all season.
Foul was on Muse, so that's 3 now on Abby Muse. That puts puts UNLV in the bonus. Benny Luna will head over to our broadcast position.
So the reason, even though there's 5 fouls and UNLV is now in the bonus, the reason that the Lady Rebels are not taking free throws is because they did not have possession fully of the basketball, so it was technically an offensive foul.
So no free throws. UNLV the ball and a 3-point lead. Kimson down the lane, got a step. Brown pulled it down and contact underneath. A foul called, and that'll put Alyssa Brown back at the free throw line. A huge offensive rebound by Alyssa Brown.
UNLV really had not had a lot of success on the offensive glass in this game because Boise State's done a great job largely controlling the boards in this one.
Brown calmly steps to the stripe and buries the first free throw to make it a 2-possession game. Lane violation called. Free throw missed, and Thompson had the rebound nonetheless. So
yeah, Brown knew she knew she was going to miss as soon as it left her hand.
Pasco flashes off the screen. Misses on the 3. Kiera Jackson dives in and pulls down the rebound. Picked it right up off the floor. UNLV can make life very difficult on Boise State with a bucket here. Alexander backing, turning. No. Brown had a hand on it, but the ball bounces on the end line out of bounds.
Alyssa Brown has had a different level of activeness on the glass here in this fourth quarter of play. Even though she struggled on the offensive end, she's making a difference by crashing the glass.
30-second timeout called by Gordy Presnell. Boise State ball with 1:37 to go, down 4.
Old Trafford East.
UNLV has outscored Boise State 22-13. They are +9 in this fourth quarter. And really, Kelly, this is where things get so tough in tournament play, especially when you have one team with fresh legs and another one that just played yesterday.
Yeah, and I don't even think it's so much. Certainly that is a factor. But, again, you're running on adrenaline at this point. The difference right now in this fourth quarter is you have a team in UNLV that is so battle-tested. They are so used to being down in late-game situations when you're playing Power 4 teams in the non-conference that they don't panic. They just have a level of composure and championship DNA in them that they're used to these big-stake moments.
No panic at all on the part of UNLV, and I don't know if anything exemplifies that more than Kiera Jackson, who's had a great fourth quarter. Oh, and Pasco shuffled her feet. Boise State turns it back over. And Tatum Thompson, that's a good teammate, went right over to Natalie Pasco, shook her hand and said, keep your head up. This game's not over.
Yeah, still a lot of time left.
UNLV breaks the press, a 2-on-1. Kimson, wide open layup. Huge bucket.
And Boise State, they can't panic here. You're still very much in this game.
Thompson, an open 3. Needed that one. It doesn't fall. McKenna Brackens, big rebound, and we're under a minute to go now in a 6-point game. UNLV breaks the pressure. Boise State not fouling. 10 on the shot clock. Kimson, patient. Now she puts it on the floor and attacks. Lays it up to Brackens, who catches it, drops it in, and pushes it to an 8-point game. UNLV The 4-time defending regular season champions fired up here late in the fourth quarter.
Amarachi Kimpson is one of the best, if not the best, one-on-one player in the Mountain West. And she's so good at recognizing when she needs to take it all the way to the rim or when she has a teammate like McKenna Brackens who is open, has the seal, and can dump right down inside. And that was the biggest basket of this game.
And it was McKenna Bracken's first basket of this game as she finally hits from the floor with 33.4 seconds to go to put an 8-point separation between UNLV and Boise State.
It's been a 7-0 run by the Lady Rebels here in the last couple of minutes. Now into a zone.
Pasco, tough shot baseline. Ball knocked out of bounds. Alexander could not corral it. Boise State another possession now. They need a quick score and a foul, or perhaps a steal. And Thompson took too many steps off the inbound. I think she lost her balance.
Really, the turnovers have been a factor for Boise State in this fourth quarter. Some unforced turnovers. It hasn't necessarily been the defense of UNLV that's been causing them.
Full court pressure. And we'll see if they foul. And finally, Thompson comes over and fouls Kimpson. And with 14.8 seconds to go, the UNLV Lady Rebels are poised to win their 10th straight game here in the Mountain West tournament behind a huge fourth quarter from Kiera Jackson. UNLV has outscored Boise State by 13 here in the fourth. Kimpson hits the first free throw. She now has 28 points in this game.
And remember, Kiera Jackson, she started 1 of 18 in this game. Since then, she's gone 4 of 4 from the field. And that's what big players do in big moments, regardless of how bad you've been playing previously in this game, or I should say how much you've been struggling offensively.
Gordy Presnell calls a final timeout, but a 10-point game with 14.8 seconds to go for UNLV. It appears they will avoid an upset loss. Only 2 conference losses all year for the Lady Rebels. Last Wednesday at Wyoming and January 25th at San Diego State on a buzzer beater by Veronica Sheffy. We'll see San Diego State and New Mexico in our next game here in the quarterfinals of the Mountain West tournament. But really, Kelly, the question that I think everyone's been asking, and Boise State gave us no reason to talk about this today, but we can now, is this tournament just a collision course for UNLV and Wyoming in a rematch in a championship game?
No, I think there's other teams that could get into the semis that could cause issues for both of those teams. So nothing is a given as far as the championship game. You know, you have to perform in the moment on any given day. You're seeing that right now. Boise State, frankly, outplayed UNLV the first 3 quarters of this game. Just couldn't close things out here in the fourth quarter. Lady Rebels have hit a different gear here in the fourth, shown that composure. But honestly, if I'm San Diego State or New Mexico heading into this quarterfinals day, I'm thinking, okay, if I can win the game today, like UNLV has some major vulnerabilities here that we could take advantage of in the semis.
Lindy LaRocque empties her bench to close this one out. A quick bucket from Thompson. And Danny Bays commits the foul in the backcourt. That'll put Macy James on the line. We mentioned Wyoming before. The Cowgirls will be in action later tonight against Air Force in a 2-7 matchup. And then our final quarterfinal this evening, it'll be Colorado State and Fresno State. With under 10 seconds to go, safe to say number 1 UNLV will advance to the semifinals tomorrow night. And they'll play the winner between San Diego State and New Mexico. The Broncos led for 30 of the 40 minutes in this game.
Yeah, this effort by Boise State cannot be commended enough. And they're going to obviously be heartbroken that they couldn't pull this out here in the fourth quarter. But this has been a tremendous tournament for Boise State. And there's a lot to build up. If you have a key 3 players returning from your junior class that are huge factors, are big contributors on your team. So there's still a lot to build off of from this Bronco squad, and they should hang their heads high at this effort here today.
Congratulations to Abby Muse, Mary Kay Nero, and Elodie Lalott on great collegiate careers. UNLV gets the victory and advances. Kiera Jackson, Amarachi Kimson, and the Lady Rebels advance to the semifinals. 80-70, your final score for my partner Kelly Berg. My name is Nate Kreckman. The postgame show with Jesse Kurtz and Jade Thomas is next.